Go ahead.
In an experiment, scientists changed a single gene in cloned flies of a certain species. These cloned flies lacked the eye cells that give flies ultraviolet vision, even though cloned siblings with unaltered, otherwise identical genes had normal vision. Thus, scientists have shown that flies of this species lacking ultraviolet vision must have some damage to this gene.
All right, so what is our conclusion here?
It's the after thus.
Yeah, so we're saying, okay, and what does that mean? Or so what's going on here then?
So we did an experiment where the scientists changed this gene and they basically,
Single gene, right? So we went in and there's like one specific gene that we changed in a certain species, right?
mhm.
Okay, cool.
So then they realized that these cloned flies, that had their genes changed, um, they lacked eye cells that gave them ultraviolet vision.
Mm-hmm.
And even though those that had unaltered, their identical genes had normal vision. So this experiment has basically shown to us the scientists that flies of this species that lack the ultraviolet vision have some damage to this gene.
Okay. So what is the flaw here?
Um, the flaw is doesn't have to necessarily be damage. So wait, sorry, actually I'm confused. They changed the gene in the cloned flies.
Yeah, and then what happened in the clone flies?
They lacked eye cells that gave them ultraviolet vision, so they didn't have it.
And so does that mean that the flies that don't have, or the scientists showed that flies of this species that lack ultravision must have had damage to that specific gene?
No, it
Why
doesn't
not?
have to be damage. Couldn't it be like it's something else?
All right, so let's see. Let's go into our answer choices. So we're trying to see what is needed. So whenever we have a necessary assumption question, we then go to like, okay, so we're at least under the assumption that this conclusion is true. And
Mhm.
so like, so if this conclusion were true, 100%, what else is needed in order for it to be part of it? So we're looking for like, what are one of the legs to the chair, right? Or what are the legs to the table?
Okay.
It doesn't guarantee that the table will stand, but at least one of those legs that is needed.
Okay. So A, the relationship between genes and vision in flies is well understood. No.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't ever pick these because to me it's like it's not well, I wouldn't say it's needed. And then even though it's not strong, or well actually well understood, I guess is kind of strong. Um to me it's not like specific enough even to what we're talking about.
Yeah, we don't care that it does. What happens if it's not well understood?
It doesn't crush our argument.
Yeah, it could still be that species lacking ultraviolet vision must have some damage to this gene. That still could be true, even if we don't understand it. We don't need to understand things in order for it to be true.
Yeah.
I don't need to understand serial killers in order for them to be serial killers. Like they're still serial. I'm sorry, you're not guilty because I don't understand why you did this. So you're free to go. Like, no.
B, no other gene in the flies in the experiment is required for the formation of the ultraviolet vision cells. Um, so it's only one gene that they changed. I mean, I do kind of like this one
Okay, why?
because we know that they only changed one gene, so that one gene makes it important in terms of figuring out whether they like why they lacked ultraviolet vision.
Because what if another gene is required?
Um,
What happened?
then they might not lack it if they have that
Yeah,
other
because
gene.
the other gene could be the one that's causing it. The damage to the other gene. So I
Yeah.
love C.
Okay, sweet.
All right, one.
Ultraviolet vision is a trait found in all species of flies. Like to me, this is just like a random fact. Like it has nothing to do with what we just talked about. Not nothing to do, but it's like too broad.
Yeah, why? What part of it?
All species of flies.
All species of flies. Yeah, we're just talking about a certain species. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what about D?
D, the gene change had no effect on the flies other than the lack of ultraviolet vision cells. I mean, we don't care about if it had any other effect. We're just talking specifically about lacking ultraviolet.
Excellent.
And then E, ultraviolet vision is an environmentally influenced trait. Like, no, to me, this is like random. Like, it has nothing to do with what the stimulus was about. If it was environmentally influenced trait, like if that was important, then they would have talked about like putting the flies in different environments to see.
Yeah, it's an like we don't care that it's environmentally, like, even if it is environmentally influenced, that doesn't mean that it's that damage to it doesn't isn't required or is required. So I'm like
Yeah,
irrelevant.
it's
Yep.
like new information too. Yeah.
Our answer is B. So how would you have felt about this?